Some of my fondest memories from the early days come from the conventions. One of the ones that comes to mind immediately was PAX East. It was in Boston in the winter. It was kind of stormy. After we set the booth up, that night we were getting calls that the booth was gone. And we were like, what do you mean the booth is gone? What are you talking about? One of the doors to the exterior had been opened and these big wintry gusts came in and literally like blew over the booth. And so we had to come in and build it all back the next morning before anybody got onto the show floor. We're debuting Mordex with all these ice powers and all this crazy energy, and that like a winter storm actually took the booth down and we had to rebuild it.
One of my favorite memories is the fun of physically working the crowd and interacting with people. It was always really cool, whether it was someone who'd never heard of our game before or someone who had been playing for a long time and finally got to meet a dev. That and also the physical labor aspect of it is something that I always personally enjoyed.
What I remember very fondly as we were building the booth, right, putting all the things together, we had to sticker our Brawlhalla logo very carefully on some styrofoam each and every time we did a convention. Besides the logo and besides building the booth, it was really fun to connect with people who played Brawlhalla, who knew about Brawlhalla, people coming up talking about their favorite legends, the people that they've met through Brawlhalla, how they've been really grinding and where they are in the rank elo. All these people, right, at the convention line up to be able to play a dev.
Play a dev has always been really fun. I think that's one of the things I liked the most. And then right after that is giving out codes.
That was the greatest time ever. Honestly, probably the best times of my entire life we're doing play a dev. Sometimes, every once in a while, you get like a little meatball person who's like, I just learned how to play the game. It's like, yeah, I've been playing for a long time. Boom, 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 boom. And that's kind of was like the fun of play dev in the beginning, right? People hadn't really played the game much. It wasn't out for that long, and we'd been playing it a bunch internally.
Yeah. When we would get some of our ultra competitive developers, like maybe Foda, facing off against anybody that wanted to come challenge them on a station.
So we'd have a line like 2 hours long for people waiting to fight a developer, and we'd give prizes for how well they did. The connections we made through that
I want to hear those
awesome.
stories because it was an amazing time.
There was literally a guy, he knows who he is because I've played with him, I've talked to him. We wouldn't know each other if it weren't for PAX East, because I would be at the Play-A-Dev and he would come up and I would make eye contact with him and I'd be like, oh, it's you from last year. You're still playing Azoth. You're still giving me a really hard time and a run for my money.
My first memory of Brawlhalla where I was really happy was BCX 2017. Got to meet all the devs, and I'm not gonna name them, but I beat a dev. I felt so good. I felt so good, and I still don't know if they let me win. I'm not sure, but it felt like I earned it. That was, I think, my first real foray into the world of Brawlhalla.
In BCX 2018, Brawl League, which I was a member of, we had been doing all the online tournaments. And V, who is still around today, he was our photographer back then, he does graphic design for us now, wanted to go to BCX, but he said, I want to do a road trip. So I met him in New York City, we rented a car, and then we drove down to BCX. We did it in like 3 or 4 days, and we built the scoreboard for BCX 2018. And we worked through the drive, one of us driving, the other one on the laptop. And then we did BCX 2018, and we were there, and that was kind of a really cool event. And at the end of that event, honestly, as a joke, myself, Left Stick Down, and V, we went to Foda, and we were like, hey, so hear us out. You know, we've been doing a lot of this online stuff for you. What if we did your in-person stuff? And he was like, yeah, okay, sure.
BCX 2022, it genuinely felt like the culmination of a lot of things.
I think it was something we needed. I think a lot of us were looking for that connection again.
As an entire community hadn't been able to see each other in a really long time in person, there was this yearning for something big, for this coming together.
It felt really special because it had been some time since the community has all gotten back together.
It really nailed that.
BCX 2023. I know that was the BCX where at the very end of our broadcast,
that moment at the end, you can look at the VOD, literally Championship Sunday, we're doing the sign off, all of our talent are around the caster desk, the crane is moving away, we're saying thank you, we're waving.
Me and Sparky and Duke, we all started crying.
It was just very cool to see that all come together and culminate in a really cool event, and to be there surrounded by the community, but then also my friends.
If I ever look back and think about Brawlhalla, I will always think about the people that I've met. There's people who I have very deep connections with because we came together and played this video game.
We had 2 sticks, okay? we were like this. And then a community of people, which you came from, saw us fools rubbing two stupid sticks together, and you guys went. Okay, so the community gave us the oxygen to start the fire.
That's a good analogy.
That is the game. Because without it, we had nothing.
I had a lot of self-doubts in terms of how good of a job I was doing in terms of what people thought about my art or my designs. But the more I did start interacting with the community, whether it was through the streams or just seeing people come up at BCX, have panels and stuff, the more I realized everyone is just genuinely really kind and awesome.
It's really interesting from a developer's perspective when you interact with the community, because you don't always know what you're gonna get. The Brawlhalla community is one of the best online communities that I have ever interacted with. It wasn't long after I joined that I was on dev streams with Duke and Sheepy.
One of the things that helped me step into the Brawlhalla community was Brawlhalla dev streams. I didn't really see that many video games talking with their community that directly and that informally.
There was kind of a cozy vibe to those early dev streams, and I would argue still to dev streams now.
It was just a couple of us getting in front of the camera, having no idea what we were doing. And now we have this amazing studio with incredible production value, and it's something that's just a core of what we do, and it's just gotten better and better, and I could never have imagined this is where we would have gotten to when we started at the beginning.
That was always like a super important part of it, especially when the community was very small. Staying connected with the community, hearing feedback, all that back and forth was like a critical part of why things worked out.
Part of the magic for me was when I first was appearing on our Twitch stream, I actually had no idea what Twitch was. So I was like, yeah, Dolce, I'll go on the dev stream with you, whatever that means.
Listening to Redalus, Dinohedron, and Tivorus, and Dolce just talk about the game, things that they're working on, literally things that they were working on right there and then, and just like, bingo bango, it's in the game now.
A story that we tell all the time is how quickly friendly fire got changed. We were like, we want 2v2s, but we want to be able to hit each other, so we're going to do it in free-for-all. Within a week, the devs were like, we'll make that how we play 2v2s.
We knew as a studio that we had to be involved. We picked the people that were willing to get out there and try things, and that's really the heart and soul of who we are.
Cookie cakes, it's literally a tradition. I don't think anything has changed since we did the year 5 video.
I don't even know how I feel about it anymore. I literally don't know if I like cookie cake or hate it. As far as eating it, I could never eat another piece of cookie cake again and be fine.
What to say about cookie cakes? We love cookie cakes.
I really enjoyed eating cookie cakes early on. You know, like it's a lot of sugar. It's a lot of sugar. I don't want to eat that much sugar anymore.
It's not really about the cookie cake. We've grown for 10 years, and along that way, I think it's really important to acknowledge those growth points and celebrate your wins.
It's nice to reward yourself every now and then, and that's something that I like that we have done since I started working here.
And for me, it was a way to interact with people on the team that I normally don't get day-to-day interaction with, or I'm not working as close with. I want to say it's the idea of the cookie cake, but I feel like Foda said that.
You know, I like what it stands for. It's about the company collectively earning a cake.
Yeah, I've eaten too much cookie cake in my life. I mean, we should maybe change it.
If I could have a different dessert, I love cookie cake though. And I don't know what other dessert I would want. Can we have a creme brulee party? Is that even possible to have a giant creme brulee?
Cookie cakes and ice cream, always, forever. Don't worry if you were thinking that maybe we had changed, it's still cookie cakes and ice cream.
What has come into Brawlhalla in the last 10 years that I never expected to happen?
Yeah, I think
It's the crossovers, really. Those are always a surprise when we learn that we're doing them. Yeah, we have Master Chief. He's in the game. That's real.
probably Star Wars was the most unexpected.
I never would have been able to guess that we would have Darth Vader in Brawlhalla when we started 10 years ago.
That was one that I didn't expect at all, partially because we were kind of told that would never happen.
I swear there was a time where we were like, it might be impossible, but then we made the impossible happen.
Mobile was one where that happened. I was like, what? That came out of nowhere. That was really cool.
If you had asked me when I started working here, do you think we would put SpongeBob in the game? I'd be like, there's no way they'd let us. Like, now so you can play SpongeBob.
To be able to work with Adidas and Dame, who, by the way, I have his jersey, and we've got his shoes in the game now, didn't ever expect that. You know, like with some of the crossovers, you're like, okay, cool, we're gonna get the Ninja Turtles or Adventure Time, and we're gonna have that in game. I never thought that we'd do shoes in basketball.
It's fun to think about all the different things that we've talked about, and we're like, should we not? And we're like, yeah, let's do it.
There's so much that came into Brawlhalla that I never would have expected. Being able to walk around with a Brawlhalla shirt and have somebody be like, hey, I played that game, that's really fun, and then talking to them and connecting with them has just been an absolute joy.
I feel like I get recognized wearing a Brawlhalla shirt now a lot more frequently. If I've got Brawlhalla merch somewhere on my body, someone's gonna say something now, whereas that was not the case before. I mean, we aren't even at like 5% of our potential. I want everyone to just know the word Brawlhalla.
I never would have expected the kind of global knowledge that Brawlhalla has garnered since then. The clothing, the comic book.
Like physically drawing it was about like a 2-year endeavor. From the time I started putting pencils down to the time we were like, it's done, was about 2 years of drawing. Now it's a book you can go find on shelves. I think my biggest hope for Brawlhalla is that people just continue to enjoy and be inspired by the characters and art they see. I hope people continue to be inspired, and I hope people continue to create and fuel their own creativity and do whatever they want to do.
You know, we have a lot of big ideas in the hopper.
Things that you can do inside the game are going to grow and become more varied, but also expanding outside the game.
If we don't have an actual moon base, what are we doing?
Well, obviously, it's still a work in progress.
There's a lot of logistics that go into a moon base, okay? We're not there yet, but
We were busy making guilds instead of spaceships.
What we found out was that the moon was in our hearts the whole time.
Yeah.
And we've always been on the moon.
I mean, there's so many people to say thank you to the people I work with every day. I think they're incredible, and they're all of the magic that makes this magical, wonderful thing we do go.
I want to thank myself to keep believing in myself and doing a lot of this work. No.
To Duke, to Winan, I think Sparky, part of the Creed, Left Stick Down, V, Sloshula, Andy Pop, Expired, Baidvar, Turbozak, Sandwick. The list is too big to go on. Everyone who has been part of this journey that I've been fortunate to be on from the beginning to now, thank you.
To have people who want to dedicate themselves to that level, it's awesome. I think it's really cool that we have an esports scene, and gotta give thanks to them and props to them as well.
our biggest thank you is to the community. This 10 years has been amazing. We couldn't have done it without you. Everything that we do is for you.
Literally, thank you so much. Without y'all, without the love and passion that you have for Brawlhalla, we wouldn't be here. We couldn't keep continuing to grow and evolve and do more.
I think I love this game more because of the community. We could not be where we are without you guys. The community has always been my favorite part of the game. It's always been the reason I keep coming back to it. So thank you, and we'll see you in another 5 years.
Thank you, everybody who found the game early on when we just had the 2 sticks and we were rubbing them together, and all the people who kept with us, and people who came in along the way.
Anybody who's played in the last 10 years, this is because of you that we're able to do this.
10 years is an insane amount of time, and a huge thank you to everybody who's been on the ride or has joined the ride.
Especially if you have like 5,000 hours played and then you give us a negative review. That's my favorite. Thank you the most.
Like and subscribe. Hit the like button. Make sure you comment down below if you think we should do another one of these in 5 years. Click the video over here if you want to watch more stuff. I don't know what it is.
You're done.
Okay.
Yay!